So there's no signal on the computer, so I'll just be doing it on the fly. So anyways, hey guys, my name's Philip. I'm the founder at Elixir Protocol. We essentially are building the first decentralized algorithmic market making protocol for centralized and decentralized exchanges. So super quick on my background. I got into crypto back in 2016 when I started the Carnegie Mellon blockchain group. I was the president there until I graduated from CMU. I ran a company called Block Venture for a little over 3 years up until around roughly 2 years ago, and saw the opportunity for Elixir and decided to go full time on it. Through my time at Block Venture, which is my last role, we were coming across like 4 or 5 blockchain startups a day. We worked as advisors to Solana, Moonbeam, Flow Network, right? So we got kind of firsthand knowledge of like the problems that these guys were facing, and I think we might have a breakthrough here, but pretty much saw a lot of the problems that market makers were kind of like a lot of the problems that these both token projects as well as order book exchanges and concentrated liquidity AMMs were facing due to the fact that market making was only dominated by a few centralized entities, right? Like there really is no alternative. And so when you think about market making just in general, right? Market making in crypto is fundamentally different from market making in traditional finance. In traditional finance, market making consists of firms that essentially compete for P&Ls in the open market, and their profit center is actually derived from their open market performance. So what you see is that you see these huge firms, right, with 1,000 UChicago PhDs, sub-second latency, right, competing, like buying, like I know for like I think I'm allowed to say it. Yeah, Tower has like skyscrapers over like key fiber optic infrastructure, right? And I know that like Jump also has like key fiber optic infrastructure, and they have all of these like maps where you can like lay it out, all fighting for milliseconds. Oh, cool, we got it going. So yeah, all fighting for to shave milliseconds off of their latency. And so that's how it looks in the traditional finance route. In crypto, market making is fundamentally different. So in crypto, generally these firms are running very simple delta neutral scripts, like basic Hummingbot scripts on the order books, and just collecting the premiums, right? And so when we talk to these guys, because we were sending hundreds of projects a year over to these big firms at my last role, and the consistent feedback they were saying is like, look, we don't actually make money on the provisioning of liquidity. Where we make our money is charging these exchanges and projects access to this algorithmic market making. And so like we saw firsthand that these guys were running essentially stock Hummingbot scripts, and we're like, look, there is no reason that a decentralized algorithmic protocol couldn't do the same thing. And so that was the inspiration for Elixir. So real high level, I covered this slide already. Really market making in crypto only consists of centralized firms, right? And this holds back not just market making on centralized exchanges, right, which every token project that's coming to market has to go through one of the big, few centralized names for market making on centralized exchanges, but it also holds back DeFi, right? We were talking to the same, like these different concentrated liquidity AMMs and order books were also going to the same 4 or 5 names and courting them for liquidity on their pairs. And so so this is really where Elixir comes in, right? So real high level, so Elixir is building the industry's decentralized algorithmic market making protocol. So what that means is when supplied liquidity, the protocol will algorithmically build and deploy that liquidity on the order books in a delta neutral fashion, building up the order books, tightening up the bid-ask spread, and deepening the liquidity on those pairs. So it's very similar to Uniswap in that the LPs, we actually use the X times Y is equal to K curve equivalent for order books. And so we bring a very familiar risk return profile to LPs, right? Whereas market making today, there's all this complexity, and a lot of the vaults, it's like, you drop in your liquidity into this proprietary, tech that we're running, right? Like that's not the game Elixir's playing. We make it very simple. People can have the exact same risk return profile as Uniswap V2 LPing. So you can be an LP in ETH USDT on Elixir, and you can be an LP into Uniswap V2 ETH to USDT and have the exact same risk return profile. So we bring a very familiar risk return profile, and it's essentially called Avellanita's the algorithm, but so essentially we use that to build up the order books. We'll be able to target centralized exchange market making. This is actually going to happen later in the year. Really what we're focusing on right now is our native integrations. And so because Elixir is a fully decentralized protocol, we update orders once a second across decentralized exchanges. So we actually have native integrations lined up like into the actual core infrastructure of guys like DYDX, Injective, Vertex, right, where you'll actually be able, within the interface, to press a button and supply liquidity to these markets on DYDX or Injective and Vertex, and be able to actually like make that market and earn a share of these rewards that these guys are already paying out. Like, why this is so important, right? Like, to put this into perspective, right? Taking a step back, like, guys like Injective is paying out over $700,000 every month in liquidity provider incentives, and it goes to 4 or 5 big firms. It's the same exact problem, right? It goes to 4 or 5 firms. Even though it's an open program, it's very difficult for people to actually access those rewards. And so what we enable is for users within the interface, press a button, supply liquidity to these different order book pairs, right, and earn a share of these rewards, right? So just like to put that into perspective, like, for every dollar that a market maker has on the books on Injective, which is an exchange, they're earning roughly 250 to 300% APY, right? So we make it so that anyone can access these rewards, and so we're kind of trying to free this market. The reason we're here at Osmocon is that we're actually natively integrating into Osmosis as well, which we're really excited about. Like, they have a great tech stack, and we'll be able to support concentrated liquidity AMMs the same way they were able to support order books. And so I think here's like a high level on our architecture. So you can actually check this out. Elixir.finance is our website. You can actually check this out at docs.elixir.finance. We just closed our Series A. We raised like $8 million from around, led by Hack VC. So really excited. Yeah, this is a little outdated. On the centralized side, we have a lot of different names that have committed to using our protocol for their centralized exchange order book liquidity. On the native integration side, this is also out of date. There's a lot of other names that, like Vertex, for example. And so, yeah, this is, our testnet V2 is already live. I see that I'm like 30 seconds over time, so I'll wrap up. But yeah, our testnet's V2 is live. We have over 14,000 validators participating in consensus. Our protocol is working. You'll actually be able to find us like from within these exchange interfaces, being able to directly supply liquidity to these pairs and earn a share of these rewards that these guys are paying out, right? And so we're actually able to like kind of free the market for liquidity on these order books, because to date there is no way to supply liquidity on these perp exchanges, right? And so via Elixir now you can. And so yeah, I mean that's the real high level. Yeah, I mean really the long story short, really with our like vision, right? Just with the amount of commitments that we have for liquidity, right? It's like Elixir could power, imagine that Elixir is powering 30% of Vertex's liquidity, 20% of DYDX's liquidity, 20% of Drift's liquidity, 20% of like RabbitX's liquidity, 20% of it, right? So that it becomes this like core piece of infrastructure that actually powers liquidity across these different exchanges. So that's the high level. This is also out of date. This presentation was made a little while ago, but we're a full-time team of 17 now based in New York City. If you're ever in Soho, feel free to ping us. Happy to have you by the office. Here's some of our backers, and we closed our Series A. This is an old deck, but yeah, that's the high level. Super excited to be supporting on in the Osmosis ecosystem. So yeah, we're going to be like getting plugged in here in the coming months. Really excited about everything. So yeah, we're kind of a new entrant into the Osmosis ecosystem, but yeah, super happy to be here. So thanks for having me.